Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the pristine, untouched wilderness of the Calmlands. And you can see from the mini-map, I am in a little bit from our overall boundary, but I'm quite okay with that. Like, that's not the end of the world that we're in from the boundary a bit, and being in from the fence is not a bad thing either, because like I said, we got room then to build our hedgerow. Now, because of the uneven ground near the gateway, we're not going to hug that gateway. We'll go back from it like that, and then we'll run in here. So we'll go a little bit tighter to the fence along here. I wanted to get tight enough to take out those weeds, but apparently I'm not going to be able to do that. I might just do that when I go back over with the plough, when we come back round again. So this one here, we're definitely going a bit closer to the fence than we have up the side and along the top. And run it down through here. So I'm going to... I know that you wouldn't really, in real life, run your plough around the outside edges of the field first and then go and do the land work, but for gameplay purposes it just makes life a lot easier, doesn't it? So that's why I do it like this in game, whereas in real life you do the headlands last when you're ploughing. And a lot of other jobs you do the headland first, but with ploughing you do the headland last. So we'll bring that one down there. Now there's a good chance that there's a bit of this field here that we won't really do a lot with. Also, the way that I'm about to plough this is definitely not what you would do in real life, but don't care, because I just want to kind of like get the edge of the field marked out here a little bit. So it's going to go like that. And that one can go there. And I can always just go and straighten that up a little bit with the landscaping afterwards. Really struggling to get up this hill. I need you to just do a little bit on the hill here. I was really struggling with this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty cool though. There's a dirty tractor. There's a very heavy plough. He's spinning a bit. This looks quite cool. I'm going to do a few passes up and down the hill here so that we've got plenty of room for turning around for doing the rest of this field. So that's my next goal right here, is we'll do a few up down here. Just to have room to be able to turn round on the edges, and then we can start working across the rest of the field. Now, ordinarily, if you were to plough a field like this, you would normally plough it across the hill, and you would start at the top of the hill, and you would slowly work your way down. Because what you're doing then is you're turning the soil up the hill by the plough width. It rolls it over, but it rolls it uphill. And you do that every time. You might slightly change the angle as you go across the fields, across the hill, because then that stops the field from getting too ridiculously rough. Occasionally, every 5 or 6 years, you might, in order, if your field was getting particularly bad with how rough everything is, you might change it and... Alright, let's change this one over. We'll tidy up this end in a bit. You might change things up and you might plough up and down the hill. You wouldn't do that very often. You would normally just be ploughing across the hill, and you just keep ploughing across the hill. But yeah, and that way it rolls the soil up the hill. So then when you work the soil and so on, it does have a tendency to sort of move down the hill a bit. Especially the top there, which is the topsoil. It's got all the best goodness in it. And so you work your farm in such a way as to keep pushing that soil back up the hill again to compensate for the action of the plough, the action of the cultivators and seed drills, everything else, slowly inching that soil down the hill, which it works really well. It does. And also it's better when you're ploughing. If you start at the bottom of the hill and you go backwards and forwards, your tractor is leaning more downhill because your tractor leans sideways. If you look at this, see, he's leaning sideways. So if you've got that down on the lower side of the hill, things are a lot more uneven. That's not good. You don't want that. It's a lot more uneven. So you kind of like, if you're working on the side of a steep hill, that's not a good thing. You don't want it looking like that. Now, I'm going to do just a quick other bit in here. Landscaping, painting, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to use that one, like that, and go like that, and I'm just going to round off that bit right there. I'm also going to do a little bit up here, because I wanted to just kind of like round that off up there. And there wasn't any more rounding that I wanted to do on there. I do now want to go into plants, and I want to go to grass, and there was this little bit over here. So I'll do this with this so that I don't have to push the plow any closer to there, but I wanted to pull these weeds out. And if this was real life, that is actually something that I would go and do manually. I would go and just, you know, big weeds like that on the edge of the field that you can't quite get to, that are creeping into the field, I personally would go and pull them out. Some people wouldn't. Some people would say, oh, no, that's a waste of time. I'm not doing that. But some people would go and do it. So it sort of depends who you are and what you want to do with your property. Okay. I just wanted it. There was another little bit there sticking out. You know there was. You've seen it. I'm not the only one that's seen that. If I put a little bit of grass in there, and we'll put grass in here, just around the edges there. The grass that side is going to grow anyway, so we don't need to worry about that. And I also want to introduce a little bit of grass there, just to fill in that little bit that we just went and altered. Yeah, I know it doesn't need to be straight like this. We're trying to do something resembling realism here, and you wouldn't necessarily have a super dead straight line along the end, but that's the edge of the field that we're going to have to live with. And so I want to make it look pretty good. Like down here, it doesn't matter, but those little tiny bits that stick out, they really irritate me, and that would bug me for the whole of the rest of the series. So that's why I've just gotten rid of them. Now, I need to slowly make my way back up the hill again, and then we're going to go all the way around the field another time now. I think 4 passes along this end is fine. 2 passes is probably enough for the other side. I mean, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll go back up that one again as well. This is so slow going, isn't it? I mean, I really like this plough. We've only done 4 passes here, and we've already got a really nice big wide chunk. So the ploughing happens quickly. We are going to need to get something to remove the stones, and we are going to need to get something to spread lime on the fields. We've got no lime that's being spread on the field at the moment. We've got lime back at the house. There is some lime there. I've seen some bags of lime, but what we don't have is anything to actually put the lime on the field with, and we are going to want it. So if you have a look in here, let's just get that one up to the top right there. We want to go seed bed there. Right, see where we're ploughing, it's going to need lime on that. Anywhere that we're doing this ploughing is definitely going to need lime. I'm going to be doing all of our farming here as organic farming. Just prefer doing it like that. So we got to get lime on here. It doesn't... Oh, that needs lime as well. It needs the ploughing, but it also needs that. We don't have a mulcher. That doesn't matter. I just don't have anything to spread lime on the field. We might not actually be able to put lime on the field, because I said that we would have to have somewhere to store all of our machinery. Going and buying yet another machine, like a lime spreader or something like that, I'm thinking no, we won't do that. Even though the field does require some lime to be put onto it, we're not going to do that until we've got somewhere to put whichever machine it is that we buy for doing the lime spreading. So that one's going to have to wait. We will at least hold true to some of our values. We've got these rules all in place. So the only other thing I've got, and I'm going to wait until I hear feedback on that one from all of you, is the loan. Now, I'm well aware that the start of this series, we've been going a little while now, and I'm still only on day 1. We are going to plough up this field. So I can't get anything to remove the stones either. I can't go and buy a stone picker because I don't have the machinery space to go and put it. I'm trying to pull that plough around the corner here. The tractor is being pulled sideways slightly with this. This plough is a little bit too big for this tractor. It's half of the problem. Well, it's part of the problem. It just doesn't like being pulled around the corner. I mean, no plough likes to be pulled around a corner. But when you've got a plough that is a fraction too big for the tractor that you're trying to pull it with, which this one is, I think this plough is a little bit much for this tractor to handle. It's a lot more of a struggle to go around the corner. And, I mean, you do, when you're doing headlands, you do try and get your plough to go round the corners a bit, like this. You wouldn't go around a sharp corner, definitely not. It puts too much sideways strain on everything, and you end up breaking something. But you would, like, curves and that, you do try to include a gentle curve here and there. Just makes life a bit easier for you. Put that one there, and now if I turn this one over, we'll go back up. So, lime spreader and also the stones. Let's have a look and see what we're... Oh, wait! The stones turning up are yellow. We should better roll out... I don't have a roller, do I? That's not fair. I haven't got a roller. I can't roll them in either. I got a seed drill. But as I don't have a roller, I can't roll the stones in that are going to turn up. That means that our machinery is going to take more wear and tear faster. That's what happens with that. Is your wear and tear increases. Oh well, that's how it is. That's what we're going to have to do. We've got no choice in the matter. We cannot until we get some more money. So I've got a few trees at the top. So I haven't got any feedback yet from people about what we do with the loan situation. A lot of you expressed a dislike for the loan. I've had several comments about how perhaps we could use the game cartridges to pay off some of the loan. So I go and find the cartridges on a map, much like I found the cheeses or truffles, whichever you want to call them, on the previous map. Except that we wouldn't use them for normal stuff. If we find anything and we can sell it, then we use that money to pay off some of our loan. So it's several of you suggesting that we do it that way. Several of you also suggesting, see right there, I probably shouldn't have tried to drag the plough around that corner. That was quite a sharp corner to be dragging the plough around. You wouldn't really want to do that, would you? It's a bit too much for it. So several people suggesting that I get rid of the loan completely. Or use the game cartridges to pay off a large chunk of the loan, and that's the only thing that I'm allowed to use the cartridges for. I mean, my other suggestion that I made when I was doing my last lot of recording was use the game cartridges to make the payments each month. So I think we're looking at about $8 grand per month for the payments. This is going to be really difficult. It is going to be really difficult. So I'm going to wait and see whether people think that I should do that or not. Something that did surprise me, though. Let me just do this here a minute. So we're on there. I want to go to settings, fixed visual, crop destruction. Every single comment said, no, don't have crop destruction. It's the one mod that you all seem to loathe and despise because it seems to be a little bit too aggressive with how much it removes, and no one likes it. Not one of you wanted me to have crop destruction in the series. I don't think there was a single comment anywhere that suggested I should have crop destruction in any of it. So that's what the people want. I was kind of like open to that one, but quite a lot of you said don't have crop destruction. And you were quite sort of vocal about that. So even though this is a hardcore series, I'm going to turn the crop destruction off, as I did. And we will leave that one off. Come on. Gotta move on. Right. Can I get round this corner? No. See? It really struggles, doesn't it? Really struggles to turn. But that does mean that we're going to be able to plough in our straight line a lot easier. So we're now ready to actually start doing straight line ploughing. Unfortunately, you cannot set the hired help going on this. If we want to have more than one hired help working at a time, because I'm saying that the first hired help is going to be either Senleia or myself doing work in the field. If we want more than that, we have to provide them with housing like I did in Boulder Canyon, except that this time I'm thinking I'm going to put a self-imposed thing in there that I cannot go using just caravans to house my workers, much as I'd like to. I'm going to provide them with better accommodation. So they will have at least a small house to live in, rather than a caravan to live in. I'm not just going to throw up a mobile home. They will have something that's a little bit better quality. Now, I did suggest that the loan repayment could be like our end goal, although so many of you have said that you don't like the idea of the loan at all, so I'm quite open to that one being removed and us doing something else. And I did suggest that perhaps the end goal could be that we have 5 million euros in our pocket. Once we've got 5 million euros in our pocket, then we can say, that's it, adios. And I think that could work really well. I think that could be a really cool end goal for us to sort of work towards. However, I am also wondering if I should set myself one further goal. If I'm... But I don't know. I don't know about this. So I'm going to ask your opinion. Again, I'm pretty much playing this series how I want to play it. I'm not going to worry too much about ruling, doing everything exactly how everyone in the comments says that I should do things, because a lot of you have said that you don't want me doing that this time. But what I was thinking, I just want to have a look in here and see if I've actually got one at the moment before we get too carried away with this. Right. These aren't expensive houses. I thought I had one that was like a really expensive farmhouse. So you got 72,000. It was one for 100,000, I see. There's a lot of really cheap housing mods. So I'm thinking something like this for worker housing. Yeah, something like that. 40 grand. That's not worker housing. Or maybe something like that. You know, 30,000 right there. That seems to be a pretty good compromise. But there isn't any really expensive ones. There just isn't. Some for 50. There's one there for 100,000. I wanted to... Basically, what I was going to say is that I want a mansion. I want a mansion that's going to cost me, you know, maybe 2 million or something like that. So, something obscene. Like a gold sink one, you know, a nice big mansion farmhouse to go and build, just as like the final cherry on the cake. And so we walk away, we've got 5 million euros in our pocket, and I cannot use... I'm not setting a time limit. A couple of comments about setting a time limit on a number of episodes that I do. I don't want to do that. I don't want a time limit on it. I don't really feel like that with this series. But walking away with 5 million euros is really nice, but I do kind of feel like we should have something else to show for it as well. So a really nice big house that we're living in, kind of like a gold sink. You know, there's so many games that you have a gold sink. You have something really, really valuable that you go and buy, and the only reason that you do that is because you've got so much money and you got nothing else to spend it on, so you spend it on the gold sink. And I'm kind of thinking that it would be a bit like that. That's what we would use the farmhouse for. It would be our gold sink. And so that's why I was wondering whether I should try and find a mod for a farmhouse that's worth millions. So we're not necessarily walking away from this series with millions in our pockets. We're buying a farmhouse that's worth 5 million or something like that. Because that way I can go to another hardcore series without some issue with, you know, like... I don't want to gamble away my money every time just before I start a new series. You know, we walked away with 5 million. Where's it all gone? Why are we back to having absolutely nothing and working our way up again? Oh, well, I went back to Monte Carlo and I gambled it all away. I don't really want to do that every time. That just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. So I think instead what we will do is we could just have a great big house here, and we, in an act of insane generosity, leave it to a friend. We just give everything to a friend and we decide to retire to somewhere remote. We could do that. That could be sort of an end goal to work towards. I don't really know at the moment. This is just kind of like ideas that are flopping around inside my skull and need to get out. So that's what I've done. I've allowed them some freedom. Now, I decided to do that by keeping that as a straight line. A little bit of an odd choice, I realise, but it allows me to keep my straight line. And we'll go back and we'll just tidy that one up very quickly. Just like that. And tidied up. There we go. Okay, so now we can flip the plough over. I'm absolutely loving our progress right here. We're now doing some fairly long runs across this field. We're keeping some nice straight lines along the top of the field. I love the look of this field. This is going to take us a while, though. This is going to be a bit of a slow job. This is the problem with the hardcore series, is that it does sometimes take a long time to do these things. We're on 716 flour in there. I think it's 1,000 litres per pallet. Oats. Well, not oats. Flour right here is January. So we will have stuff that we can sell in January. It's August at the moment, so we're not going to be getting much income just yet. Let's do a little bit more ploughing for a minute. This is the one problem with setting myself a project like this. It's rather slow. I would like another tractor. If I had another tractor, I could have a second machine doing some other work. Now, at the moment, there's not a lot of other work that we can do. I wanted to get this ploughed. We did oats already. I'm thinking that, I mean, it doesn't really matter what cereal crop I grow, but I am thinking that we need to do a rotation for our crops. We're not going to include corn in our rotation because I don't have pigs yet. And I mean, I would like to do pigs. I'm thinking pigs. Definitely, I am thinking pigs. I was talking about this last time I was doing some recording, and I was thinking that, yeah, pigs is kind of like the animal that I would like to do stuff with. I haven't done that much yet at all. I'm going to do possibly some stuff with pigs in the time-lapse. I'm sort of working towards that, as you've seen, but I haven't done it yet, and I've been focused a lot on cows and sheep in everything else, and I'm going to be doing cows in the Rizu forest because I haven't got arable equipment there. So pigs definitely make sense in this series. Pigs, they seem to be the animal to go for. So I'm going to need to be able to do corn at some point once I start working on pigs. It has been suggested that maybe I should get sheep as well, something extra, but I don't really want to do that. I don't know why. Well, we did sheep. We did sheep already. It costs money to go and build the sheep pen. Like that is a fair bit of money as well that it costs to build the sheep pen. And not only that, like if I go and spend all of that money on the sheep pen and I grow them up, it does take a while to build them up and so on. So there's a lot of investment going into it. I'd rather be spending that money on expanding the arable side of things, and so then helping us with our future pig business. So that's why I kind of want to sort of stick with this, stick with the arable side of things. It's been pointed out also that with arable, I only really get a payday once a year, but then you could argue the same for sheep. Cows, you get regular milk coming from them. But like wool from the sheep, you don't get that every year. Well, that's an annual thing, because you're not going to be selling off the wool when it's cheaper. Not unless you've absolutely got to. And so I'm kind of thinking that we're on the right track with what we're doing here. I'm not going to invest money in cows or sheep. We will just stick with what we've got right here. We could try and grow a few trees. Maybe we could buy a tree planter and we could do that. I've got some more trees that I can go and cut down to get some more money, which means that we should be alright for building sheds and so on. It depends entirely what happens with our loan situation, and that depends entirely on the feedback that I get. So I'm going to wait, I'm going to bide my time until I find out what I get with the loan situation. Now, this may seem a little bit confusing to some of you, because I will have been talking about the loan quite a while ago. I'm trying to build up a backlog. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.